Hello, my name is Serena Eccleston, and the course is Mathematical Thinking across the curriculum, across the mathematics curriculum, course EDU 5160. My professor name is Olga Fellus, and my name is Serena Eccleston, and my book review is on Children Reason While Building Fraction Ideas. What is fraction? Fraction represent part of a whole or parts of a set of things. There are two parts to a fraction. There is a numerator and a denominator. These indicate how many equal parts of the whole or collections are taken. The denominator is a number below the line. In a collection of things, it indicates how many equal parts the whole can be divided into or how many equal parts there are together. Well, this is a watermelon, and it showed the whole watermelon. And when it's cut into two halves or divided into two, where you can link it to division and addition or subtraction and multiplication as well. And then here you can see it cut into 4 parts, and we can use the language to call it quarters. So 4 equal quarters that it's cut into. And here it shows that the numerator is on top and the denominator is at the bottom. And an analysis between the educational resource, the children reason for building fraction ideas, and the Ontario Math curriculum. And my focus strand is on fractions. In the children reason for building fraction idea, it illustrates the different aspects of mathematical practice, such as searching for meaning, modeling, reasoning, arguing, and justification. And it's important for students to, for educators to model fraction. It can be modeled by reading books. It can be modeled by watching videos, can be modeled by using anchor charts. It could be modeled by using manipulatives and different resources that will help students to get a basic understanding and build that foundation of the reason why we use fraction. The books explore how students can comprehend fraction more quickly by watching educational videos. This allows the student to understand the content more clearly while building fundamental skills to enhance their knowledge on the subject. Throughout the Ontario Math curriculum, the mathematical process follows the flow of learning and illustrates the interrelationship between its various strands. For instance, problem solving, reasoning, proving, reflecting, connecting, communicating, representing, and choosing tools and strategies. And I just want to touch a little bit on problem solving. What the math curriculum there focuses is like, how are the students solving their problem? I get into an understanding why do we use fraction? We can connect it in an authentic way by relating to their everyday lives. It could, for example, they bring a banana to school. We can talk about if you cut the banana in 2 pieces, that would be a half each, like 2 halves. Or you can talk about the orange that they have in their lunch bag or their snack, to letting them have a connection and make it more meaningful to them. When we say presenting years fraction, and this is how you're going to learn it, but when we present it in an authentic way, you're able to grasp it and make connection and enable them to collaborate within the groups with their peers, because not all children learn the same. And when other students talk about it and ask questions, they're able to, other students are learning in a more meaningful way. For example, I will use with my son, when presenting fractions to him, I will use a number line, and the number line for him, he was able to visualize it and able to say, this is the beginning of the number line and to the end. And if he doing track and field, if he run close to the middle or the halfway, he knows that either 1/3 or 1/4, and get to the middle, it would be a half, because it's all the way there to the finishing line. And the strength of when students have these resources within their environment, They are learning new mathematical concepts in an authentic and meaningful that are familiar to them. So it's important to use things that are familiar to them so they can have a good understanding and set them on a positive pathway of learning fraction. Learners may demonstrate their mathematical learning in many ways. They can demonstrate it orally, visually, kinestical, through portfolios, display, discussion, modeling. So it's important to teach a modeling. It's important to encourage discussion, important to have anchor charts up and a word wall up. So children, after the lesson's been taught and modeled to them, they can refer back to the anchor chart, that they can have a visual representation, that they can make connection. And that will give them a more positive learning experience. And this will help them to develop a strong foundation in fraction that is related to other learning domain. Because I remember when I was growing up learning fraction, it was challenging for me because it was only written on the board. There was no manipulative, there was no anchor chart. The teacher taught it on the board, they write it on, they open, or they saying that you should understand it. But when I learned fraction from my children, when I'm much older, they present it to me in a more authentic way. Like, if you're cooking, this is the amount that you put in. This is, you see it on the measuring spoon and you see it on the measuring cup. And it's more in a friendly environment where you are allowed to make mistakes. And when you make those mistakes, it not being judged. So you use that mistake so you can learn from it. And that's what the educational resource for children, building fraction in that environment, that they were presenting that when students make mistake, they use a new learning way to counteract that mistake so that children can learn it in a more authentic environment. And for the weakness that I look at, when students do not have the support like anchor chart or a teacher who are motivated or are excited about teaching fraction, the student become lack of engagement, like unmotivating. They have no interest in want to learn it. And the student may have a delay in their learning, and new learning is unfamiliar to them. So when new learning is presented to them and it's not connected in an authentic way, they tend to not want to learn it. Lack of support from the teachers can also be one of the downside for a student do not want to learn about fraction. A summary of both the children reasoning for building fraction ideas and the Ontario math curriculum, that learning of fraction for students is presented through multiple manipulatives. Students are challenged with understanding new materials and look for alternatives to better understand the subject. For example, anchor chart, video demonstration, modeling, group collaboration, and much more. Our strategy to assisting student work development. This can not only improve the cognition of the student at hand, but can help connect them to different mathematical strands like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so forth. On the other hand, while few students may understand the content quickly or quicker and be more engaged, others may have a lack of interest to participate. Overall, connecting students to external resources and having multiple solutions at hand can be beneficial to students succeeding academically in fraction. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful night.